In a charming but divided town, Lydia, a determined costume shop owner, uncovers a sinister plot by an exclusive club to ruin Halloween for everyone. Her quest for revenge takes an eerie turn, leading to a Halloween night no one will ever forget. In the heart of an enchanting town nestled between rolling hills, Lydia was the spirited proprietor of a costume shop, Lydia's Attire. The town, like many, had its fair share of disparities, with pockets of affluence interspersed among modest neighborhoods. But what made this town truly special was its deep-rooted love for Halloween. 5 years ago, Lydia stumbled upon a sinister secret. An exclusive club, the All Hallows Elite, had been actively working to undermine Halloween for the entire town. This elitist group, consisting mostly of well-off individuals, aimed to cancel the traditional Halloween festivities to maintain their perceived social superiority. The club, secretive and influential, planned to monopolize Halloween by hosting an extravagant, invitation-only party while discouraging others from participating in the beloved holiday. Their intention was to turn the town into a ghostly, eerie spectacle, devoid of the traditional fun and excitement. Lydia, a true Halloween enthusiast, was devastated by this revelation. She couldn't stand idly by while this nefarious plan unfolded. She knew she had to take action. With the spirit of Halloween as her ally, Lydia plotted her revenge. She began by reaching out to her network of friends and fellow Halloween lovers from all walks of life. Together, they hatched a plan to create a Halloween spectacle that would rival anything the All Hallows Elite had ever seen. They transformed the town square into a Halloween wonderland, with enchanting decorations, thrilling haunted houses, and spooky but family-friendly activities. Lydia's Attire became the epicenter of creativity, offering costumes for everyone, from extravagant to budget-friendly. As Halloween night approached, Lydia's revenge was in full swing. The All Hallows Elite's exclusive party was overshadowed by the town's vibrant festivities. The revelry spread like wildfire, attracting people from all backgrounds and walks of life. But Lydia's revenge took an unexpected turn when a mysterious, otherworldly presence emerged. As the clock struck midnight, the town square became alive with supernatural phenomena. Ghostly apparitions and eerie sounds filled the air, sending shivers down the spines of all in attendance, including the All Hallows Elite. The elite club members, once so smug, found themselves in a terrifying spectacle they couldn't control. Panic spread among them as they realized their exclusive party had attracted something beyond their understanding. The supernatural forces Lydia had invoked created an unforgettable, bone-chilling experience. Lydia's Halloween revenge was complete, and she reveled in the chaos she had unleashed. The town's Halloween festivities, now cherished more than ever, would forever serve as a reminder that Halloween belonged to everyone. As for the All Hallows Elite, they never dared to interfere with Halloween again, their attempt at exclusivity forever haunting their memories. Lydia, the unsung hero of Halloween, had turned the tables, proving that no one could control the spirit of the season. 2 Halloweens ago, in a time before the pandemic's eerie isolation set in, I found myself at the heart of a chilling encounter that still sends shivers down my spine. Let me preface this by admitting that my most dreaded pet peeve in the world is when someone blatantly cuts in line. It doesn't matter the setting, grocery store checkouts, traffic jams, bathroom queues, it all has the power to awaken a burning fury within me. My reaction typically involves calling out the line jumper, sternly demanding they return to the end of the line. However, my unassuming appearance often leads to dismissive glances and snide remarks. My dedication to justice in the realm of queuing knows no bounds, and I'm willing to go to great lengths for some satisfyingly petty revenge. This tale unfolds during Halloween weekend, when I ventured out with a group of friends to explore the eerie, dimly lit bars scattered across the town. As expected, the night was brimming with long lines snaking their way into these haunted establishments. My patience was put to the test when I witnessed a group of 4 individuals attempting to leapfrog their way ahead. 3 guys and 1 girl, apparently lacking a basic sense of decency, decided to bypass the line by hopping over a nearby brick fence. The group in front of me, initially resistant to their scheme, was soon worn down by the girl's bizarre antics and relentless pleas. Sensing her unpredictable temperament, they reluctantly allowed the quartet to skip ahead. My sense of injustice simmered beneath the surface, but I refrained from causing a scene, especially given the chaotic Halloween night and the indifference of the bouncers. Instead, I decided to bide my time and unleash my revenge inside the bar. Upon entering, I found a cacophonous mix of revelers. Some were dancing with wild abandon, while others stood huddled in small groups, engaged in eerie whispers. The crowded, dimly lit space seemed tailor-made for my plan. My eyes locked onto the girl who had orchestrated the line-jumping escapade. She was now swaying on the dance floor, engrossed in a flirtatious dance with one of her 3 cohorts. Rather than opting for the mundane act of accidentally spilling my drink on her, I hatched a more devilish scheme. Spying an abandoned cup on a nearby ledge, it was filled halfway with a lurid, sticky concoction of fruity delight. This would be my instrument of revenge. I approached her with an air of innocence, feigning a struggle to navigate the tightly packed crowd. A calculated bump sent her lurching forward, the contents of the sticky drink cup splattering across her and her unwitting companion. It was the perfect distraction. My drink conveniently descended down her back in the ensuing chaos. I melted into the shadows, escaping her immediate wrath. From my vantage point on the sidelines, I watched as she furiously gathered her group, a tempest of anger and frustration brewing within her. In a fit of indignation, they stormed towards the exit, their Halloween night utterly ruined. I then rejoined my triumphant friend group, content that my revenge had been both satisfying and deliciously spooky. As I sipped on my drink, untouched by the evening's turmoil, we reveled in the remaining hours of that memorable Halloween night, forever haunted by the mischievous spirit that had guided my actions. Happy Halloween, indeed!
When I embarked on my journey to university, my parents generously co-signed a mortgage for a cozy apartment-style condominium in a quaint Canadian town 2 decades ago. The cost of this abode was a staggering $52,000 at the time. They believed it was a more sensible and economical choice than navigating the world of apartments and landlords. I enthusiastically embraced the idea and settled into my new home. The building predominantly housed individuals aged 65 and older. It was a modest structure with just 24 units, divided into 2 sections. My unit was nestled in the basement. While it wasn't extravagant, it was perfect for a student like me. At the tender age of 19, I maintained a low profile, kept to myself, and avoided the typical college party scene. I fostered amicable relationships with most of my neighbors, often lending a hand with heavy lifting or helping them transport groceries upstairs. Given the significant age gap and the stereotypical image of a college student, I made it a point to be a considerate and helpful neighbor to steer clear of conflicts. However, one neighbor proved to be a perpetual thorn in my side, my upstairs neighbor. Despite being a petite 70-year-old woman who couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds, she moved about like an elephant. She blared gospel music at maximum volume at 5 a.m. on Sundays, frequently grumbled about that damn kid if anything was out of place, and even accused me of breaking into her car, resulting in a police statement. However, I was out of the country on an internship during that time, making her claims baseless. Nevertheless, she persisted in making my life miserable. I attempted to address the issue with her regarding the loud TV, only to receive the retort that it would no longer be confined to Sundays. After several years of diplomacy, it became evident that there was no resolution in sight. While others in the building likely knew she had a vendetta against me, it was baffling why this sweet-looking elderly lady would fabricate stories and attempt to have me expelled from the condominium association board, which she did at least 11 times during my residency. 7 years into my stay, while I was working for an ambulance service just north of the city, I received a call about a shooting, neighbors embroiled in a land dispute. Although the victim survived, a police investigation was inevitable. The investigating officers contacted me for a statement and offered to come to my residence for the interview, given that one of them was a constable I had worked with extensively. I agreed and set a time for an hour after my return from work. As I was stepping out of the shower, I heard them buzz to enter the building. I quickly called out, "Come in, I'll be out in a second." I hastily grabbed some clothes and heard them ascend the stairs. While I was trying to get dressed, I heard them knock on my upstairs neighbor's door. They introduced themselves as members of the RCMP Major Crimes Division, inquiring about my whereabouts. Panic set in as she replied, "Oh, he lives downstairs. What do you want with him?" They thanked her for the information and, not divulging any details due to the ongoing investigation, left. My heart sank, but then a plan began to form. I knew the gossip mill would soon churn out tales. She would likely tell anyone who would listen that the Major Crimes Division was seeking me, painting me as a criminal. I decided to see how far this would go. Soon, I noticed neighbors giving me sidelong glances in the hallway, while others avoided me. It became apparent that she had been spreading stories. According to her, I had been arrested for robbery and kidnapping and was out on bail. The revelation came when a neighbor who served on the condo board delivered a letter demanding an explanation, coupled with threats of eviction. Per the condo board's bylaws, I could request a meeting to provide a defense before any action was taken. Linda, not her real name, my upstairs neighbor, was also a member of the board. They scheduled the meeting for a week later, but I was forewarned that the odds were stacked against me. On the day of the meeting, Linda sat smirking at me, while other board members cast disapproving glances my way. The board president asked for my defense. I stood and quietly handed out a letter on RCMP letterhead, signed by the regional superintendent. The letter read, "Mr. Zenmedic is not under suspicion of any crimes, past or current, and has not been arrested, detained, or questioned as a suspect in any criminal matter. His duties as a paramedic may require him to make statements regarding ongoing investigations, and on this particular date, investigators sought his statement in connection with an ongoing investigation in which he was professionally involved. At no point did the investigators discuss, reveal, or suggest his involvement in any wrongdoing. I regret the necessity of this letter and will reopen an inquiry into a previous incident concerning false allegations against him." The shift in facial expressions was palpable. The accusatory glares turned from me to Linda. She gasped that the letter must be a forgery and insisted she had witnessed my arrest. She pleaded with the board to believe her, but it did not sway their decision. I rose to address the board and recounted years of harassment and abuse, including her false accusation of vehicle break-ins. I also informed the board that, as advised by my lawyer, I would not discuss the matter further with any board member due to Linda's involvement and her use of her position for harassment, which opened the board as a whole to potential legal action. The next day, there was a knock on my door. The board president informed me that Linda had been removed from the board and cautioned about her behavior. Any further harassment could result in eviction proceedings against her. Linda also received a visit from the police, who issued her a summons for providing false statements and obstructing a peace officer. She had to appear in court, where she pled guilty to both charges. She received a suspended sentence and a 1-year condition not to harass, threaten, or intentionally inconvenience me in any manner. If she adhered to these conditions, she would receive an absolute discharge, effectively erasing the incident from her record. I relocated to another province before her year of probation was up, but for a brief period, I enjoyed peaceful Sunday mornings, free from harassment.
For years ago, during my college days, I found myself working at the cozy little coffee shop in my hometown. The place was a hub of warmth and comfort, a favorite haunt for the locals seeking refuge from the hustle and bustle of their lives. The setting was perfect, and for the first year, my experience there was nothing short of idyllic. I shared my shifts with a delightful couple in their 30s, let's call them Alex, A, and Bella, B. They radiated warmth and camaraderie, making each day a pleasant experience. The shop buzzed with contentment, and customers were greeted with smiles and freshly brewed coffee, creating an atmosphere that felt like home. However, a single fateful night marked the turning point in this tale. I was scheduled for a closing shift with Alex, but I had been feeling under the weather all day. As nightfall loomed, my condition worsened, with a high fever that made it nearly impossible to stand. The impending rain only added to my misery. With just 30 minutes remaining until closing time, I mustered the courage to approach Alex and asked if I could leave early. To my relief, he agreed, and I departed, hoping to find some much-needed rest. The following morning, as I returned to the shop, I was greeted by Alex and Bella with mock enthusiasm. "Look who's here, mister, I have a fever and can barely stand." I tried to brush it off as a light-hearted jest, but the banter didn't stop there. Throughout the day, their playful taunts continued, gradually turning more malicious. A more significant blow came when, the next day, Alex stopped communicating with me altogether. This silence began to affect our workflow as he refused to relay orders or provide any assistance. It reached a point where I had to approach customers for their orders when Alex took them and handle everything myself when I was at the counter. He even feigned deafness when I attempted to communicate or ask for help. Days turned into weeks, and the frosty silence persisted. It was clear that Alex was unwilling to engage in any form of mature conversation. Frustration mounting, I finally turned to the shop's owner, hoping for a solution. To my dismay, the owner's response was far from what I had hoped for. He nonchalantly remarked, "You'll have to work harder to earn his approval," with his wife echoing, "That's just the way he is." My patience was running thin, and I knew that the couple was about to embark on a 2-week vacation following their recent wedding. That's when the idea for a bit of petty revenge began to take shape in my mind. I proposed to the owner that I would manage the shop's opening and closing shifts alone, something I had done countless times before. I spun it as my way of putting in extra effort to earn Alex's elusive approval. Surprisingly, the owner agreed without hesitation. The fateful week of their much-anticipated holiday arrived, but on the morning of the first day, I never showed up to open the shop. Panic ensued in our group chat, as they desperately tried to reach me and find a last-minute replacement, but my phone remained silent. A few tense hours later, the owner delivered the news: their vacation was cut short, and they had to return to work prematurely. The realization of their own medicine seemed to finally dawn upon them, as the consequences of their actions mirrored back at them in a most unexpected twist.